Hello there, my friends. Thank you for joining me today. It's cold and snowy outside, but in here it's warm and cheery. I'm really glad you're here. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about at least one matter of Christian ethics. Not a boring lecture. I think you'll like this. In the meantime, I hope you'll join us on Sunday morning as well as today. Same place, 10:45, and the entire worship service is live streamed, and it'll come up on your phone or your computer. And I hope you have a blessed day, blessed weekend, and next week we will be running these again. But I wanted to tell you a story that has to do with revenge. Now, not a one of us hasn't been tempted when someone does something to us or does something to a loved one. We have all been tempted to want to get even. But I'd like to suggest to you today that there is a method that God uses to get even. I would like to share that with you. There was once a very young soldier who, I'm having to use a script today, very young soldier who was in the service, and his drill sergeant absolutely dressed him down, if people say that anymore, and completely humiliated this young man, barely out of his teens. This senior officer had gone, admittedly, beyond the grounds of what is considered acceptable in disciplining the young soldier. And he knew it, but he did it anyway. And when the young man finally left his office, he said to him, "I'll make you regret the day you did this." And of course, his senior officer did not like the sound of a threat. And I don't know why he didn't add a little more discipline to it when he left, but he didn't. Well, this was during wartime. And a few days later, the company was under heavy fire. And this officer who had just administered discipline to a young soldier, he was caught in the crossfire, and the enemy had wounded him very badly. And he was laying on the ground, bleeding out. And this young soldier came up to him. In fact, he ran up to him. And he dragged his officer over to a point of safety. And the officer looked up at him and said, "Son, you saved my life today." And the young soldier, who was a Christian, said to him, "I told you one day I was going to make you regret what you said to me." And like the biblical borrowed phrase is, he heaped burning coals on his head by doing good. Well, I'd like to suggest to you that this is God's way of doing revenge. It's not getting back. And again, I'm having to do this. Well, it's not getting back at someone in the sense of violence or hate-filled actions. God's way of getting revenge is turning the other cheek. It's doing good instead of doing evil. This is because God loves us. Whether we are believers or not, we are special in his eyes. So perhaps the next time you are tempted to commit an act of revenge, perhaps one that might even put you in jail, you might want to think about the way God would have you do it. Say a prayer and be thankful. I hope to see you on Sunday. Have a blessed weekend.